Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today we will be predicting the 2022-2023 Premier League table, listing every team including the three that have just been promoted in AFC Bournemouth, Fulham, and Nottingham Forest. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are just 146 subscribers away from the big 1,000. So if we could reach that by September...
Yeah, that's a very ambitious goal, but I think we can do it.
I think we can do it. Please, please, please help out by subscribing and hitting that button below. And without further ado, let's start with 20th place.
For 20th place, I have AFC Bournemouth. I just don't think they're going to stay up because of the signings they made. The only one good signing they made is Ryan Fredericks. He's came from West Ham United. He has experience in the Premier League. But he also is not in the best form right now. So, and if they make some good signings, I think they definitely can stay up. But as of now, with the signings they made, I don't think they'll stay up.
My 20th place is Nottingham Forest. They had a pretty magical season last year, winning the playoffs and the championship to get here. They did finish 4th. I don't see them progressing too far in this Premier League season just because they don't have the most powerful squad. It doesn't have a lot of depth. So they're going to have to make a fair few signings or call up a couple of youth players in order for them to really make a mark in the Premier League. They also lost one of their biggest players in Jed Spence, probably their best defender last year, as he heads back to parent club Middlesbrough. They were able to sign, however, Henderson from Man United, Hennessy from Burnley, and Nico Williams from Liverpool. So 3 Premier League proven players who can really help them out. But I don't see them getting above the relegation zone unless they make more signings.
And for 19th place, I have Southampton. The reason I put them in 19th is they can definitely finish higher up the table with the experience they've gotten. But they've only really made one big signing, which is Joe Aribo from Rangers. If they do make some quality signings throughout the remaining time in the transfer window, they can definitely finish higher. They've got the experience, they've got the players, they've got the squad depth. They've definitely lost some players, players that have gotten on loan, like, for example, Broha. He's gone back to Chelsea, where he was on loan from. That's a big loss for them. He was kind of like their striker. And also, they keep selling their big players for some reason.
Didn't happen this season.
It did happen this season, kind of. Like, you could see that with Hojbjerg when he came to us. Fraser Forster, when he came to us, he was really a big player for them last season. And, of course, Danny Ings to Aston Villa. Just coming off the back of a really...
Don't forget about Vestergaard last season.
But Danny Ings coming off of a really good season with Aston Villa, leaving the club. I just don't know what... There's the owners don't put enough money into the club.
Maybe that's
and
the
they
problem.
just make profit purely on selling players.
Yeah, maybe that is the problem. My 19th place is AFC Bournemouth. Their only big signings were Fredericks from West Ham and Rothwell from Blackburn. They have a fairly solid squad from last season with a good manager in Scott Parker, but I don't know if they can get past the teams around them, especially teams like Fulham, who had a great season last year, Southampton, still Premier League team, Brentford, and other teams around them. So I do see them going back down.
Moving on to 18th spot is Nottingham Forest. They don't have the squad depth like you said. They don't have the players to not get relegated this season. But if they do make some signings, I think they can definitely stay up.
Make a challenge.
So far, they've signed Nico Williams, Dean Henderson, and Wayne Hennessy. Those are some of their big signings this season. Dean Henderson is a big signing because he's a quality goalkeeper.
Yeah,
he's definitely a quality goalkeeper. So they could stay up if they make good signings.
Yeah. My 18th place choice is Southampton. They really haven't had a game-changing signing this season. Very shaky towards the end of last season with 5 games without a win, including a 6-0 loss to Chelsea. Hasenhuttl maybe losing his magic. Really, the only big standout player there right now is James Ward-Prowse. As you said, they've lost Fraser Forster, Armando Broja, 2 very important players in last season for them. So they'll have to make some big signings this summer and the rest of the summer.
Definitely. Moving on to 17th place, I have Fulham, who I think will stay up by the skin of their teeth. They have made some decent signings, such as Joao Paulinho and Andreas Pereira. Pereira was kind of like a banter player at Manchester United, did not performed very well for them. In like the Jose Mourinho era, 18-19 season, he was kind of like a meme. But I think going to Fulham was a good choice for him to kind of revive his career, and he can definitely help Fulham.
My 17th place choice is also Fulham. I think they'll stay up by the skin of their teeth. Palhinha is a very good signing from Sporting, as well as Andreas Pereira from United. They did lose a big player in Fabio Carvalho to Liverpool. Really good season last year in the Championship, specifically from Mitrovic. I think this season they can just stay up with their manager, Marco Silva.
Moving on to 16th place, I have Brentford. They made like one good signing, which was in Thomas Strakosha from Lazio. And if they make some good signings, then I think they can advance higher up the table. But as of now, with the signings they've made, I don't see them going higher than like 15th or 16th. Losing Eriksson was definitely a big loss. He was their main playmaker. He was at the center of almost everything for Brentford last season.
My reasons are exactly the same because I put Brentford for 16th. Strakosha is a great signing, but is it enough to counteract that Eriksson loss? Because Eriksson was basically their bright spark in the end of the season last year. He really helped the team, and so losing him is going to be a big loss. But holding on to Tony, Mbuemo, Ayer, and a lot of their other players, Jensen, David Raya, that's going to be important in this upcoming season unless they make some more signings. But I think they'll do pretty well. I think they'll finish around 14th, 15th place. Maybe 16th place, yeah.
For 15th place, I have Leeds United. I think they can definitely go higher than 15th, depending on the signings they make this transfer window. But so far, they've made some pretty decent signings. Brendan Aronson, Luis Sinisterra, Tyler Adams, Mark Roca, a good amount of youngsters. They still haven't had a big game changer signing yet, which I think will come later in the transfer window. But if they get that one big game changer signing, then they can definitely go higher in the table. But I think they'll definitely stay up. It was also a very big loss losing Rafinha. He was a very big player for Leeds United.
My 15th place spot goes to Everton. They lost their best player last year in Richarlison to Tottenham. Their only signing this season so far has been James Tarkowski from Burnley. Could help solve some big defensive issues, especially considering that Michael Keane has had a very, very poor recent couple of games at the end of last season. They need some big signings, good signings, to really strengthen their squad, but they've got a bunch of Premier League proven players, so I think they'll be able to stay up this season.
Moving on to 14th spot, I have Everton, like you just said. Of course, they signed James Tarkowski. You definitely strengthened their defense. Him and Brentwaite may be playing at the back because Mason Holgate and Michael Keane have not had the best of season last season. In the two past seasons, really, they have not been the best. So it's time to freshen up their defense. That was their main issue last season. That's why they finished 17th. That's why they were so close to getting relegated. It was very because of their defense.
Managerial mess.
Yeah.
My 14th place choice is Crystal Palace. They got a big signing in Doucouré from Lens. They did get Johnston on a free as well. They've got a good squad under Vieira, but I feel like other teams around them are strengthening a little more, and I think they've got a very young squad, so we still have to wait and see how exactly their squad will play out. But they'll definitely survive. I think that's for sure, but I think maybe one or two more big signings, and I think they'll really be confirmed to show up. But Patrick Vieira is having a very, very good reign at Crystal Palace so far.
Moving on to 13th place, I have Brighton, who really have not made any signings this transfer window. That's why I put them 13th. They were on the rise last season. They finished in 9th place for like the first time. That's like the highest they've ever finished, I'm pretty sure.
They had a very good season.
A big loss for them losing Bissouma to us. They still have not signed anyone, really. They need to make those signings. That's why I put them 13th. I would have put them higher because they're definitely on the rise. But they need to make some signings. And they lost Bissouma. So, in conclusion, I think they'll fall down a little bit.
I put 13th as Leeds United. They lost a huge player in Rafinha, basically their best player. But they did sign Tyler Adams from Leipzig, Aronson and Christensen from Salzburg, and Sinistera from Feyenoord. So they've got a good couple players there that they've brought in, and they're really building a good squad under Jesse Marsh, who seems very enthusiastic about the club. So I think he'll really help them out. Maybe not this first season. This first season I think they'll see a definite improvement because last season, 17th place, I think 13th is a understandable and good improvement from them.
Moving on to 12th place. For me, I have put Wolves in 12th place. They've only made one big signing with Nathan Collins, who is Premier League proven. Played for Burnley last season. He kind of acted up towards the end of the season under Michael Jackson.
Yes.
It's just funny saying Michael Jackson because it's not actually the singer Michael Jackson.
Mike Jackson,
yeah. But I think they can finish 12th. They had a pretty good start to last season, and their mid-season was good. They just fell at the end.
Yeah. My 12th place is Brighton and Hove Albion. Yes, they lost Basuma. That's a huge loss. But they kept a lot of important players so far, like Dunk, Webster, Cucurella, and Lamptey. And they're building a very good squad under Graham Potter. Last year, they had a very good season, but I think Basuma loss will hurt them unless they get a good presence in midfield, a big presence in midfield like he was. Because I remember when we played him, he absolutely annihilated us in midfield. He was all over us, Basuma. So I'm glad we got him, but Brighton
scored a goal against us
in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Brighton need to get a player who matches his type. But I think with the players they've got, if Graham Potter can keep building on that and they make one or two good signings, they'll go up the table a little bit.
In 11th place, I have Aston Villa. Last season, it was not their best season. 14th place, they finished in. But they had made some pretty good signings so far. Diego Carlos, of course, they sealed the permanent deal for Philippe Coutinho, and also Robin Olsen, a goalkeeper.
Yes.
Backup goalkeeper for Emi Martinez. But I think they can definitely go higher in the table depending on the signings they make. Diego Carlos from Sevilla is definitely a huge signing for them, and the Philippe Coutinho permanent deal.
My 11th place choice is Wolverhampton Wanderers. Only one signing in Collins from Burnley. They haven't really lost any big players. They've been able to keep Adama Traore, Raul Jimenez, Pedro Neto. They kept so
pretty much injured all last season.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good squad there, but I think they do need to improve their defense a little bit, make some defensive signings. But I think 11th place is about where they'll finish.
In 10th place, I have Leicester City. 2 seasons ago, they were on the rise. Now they're on the downfall a little bit. So far, they haven't made any signings either. So that's what worries me. That's why I think they're going to fall, maybe, if they don't make any signings. But they need to make signings. If they make some big signings, they can definitely be contesting for, the Conference League.
Mm-hmm. My 10th place is Aston Villa. Coutinho, they've obviously sealed on a permanent. They've got Ings, they've got Buendia, Martinez. They made a good signing in Diego Carlos from Sevilla as well as Kamara from Marseille. They've gone some other important players. They've got Steven Gerrard as their manager. I think this will be a good season for them. I think they'll definitely have an improvement. It's just how big that improvement is that I don't know.
For 9th place, I have Crystal Palace. I thought they would be a little on the higher end of the table. So far, they've signed Doucouré, Sam Johnstone. They're those 2 bigger signings. But I think Patrick Vieira is really building a good squad under them, as you can see last season. Just with the players they have, honestly. Like Zaha, Ayew. They just keep advancing. They just keep getting better and better under Patrick Vieira. So I think they're going to finish 9th. Ninth.
My 9th place choice is West Ham United. They made a couple of good signings, but they did lose Yarmolenko, who really didn't play much, and Fredericks. They were able to keep Declan Rice, which is a big hold on one of their best players. But again, I just don't feel like they have the depth so far to hold a high place finish in the table. I'm sure they'll have a good start, but I have a feeling, just like last season, they'll start the decline and go down and down and down to 9th place.
For Eighth place. Sorry, I keep saying the wrong numbers. For eighth place, I have Newcastle United. So far, they've signed Sven Botman and Nick Pope, the two big signings. Of course, with the Saudi takeover, they have a lot of money, and they can spend a lot of money on transfers. So still, with the remaining time in the transfer window, I'm expecting some big signings from Newcastle. But last season, what they finished, like 11th?
11th, yeah.
11th.
Pretty high. Good season.
They, under Eddie Howe, they had a big comeback in the Premier League. Everyone thought they were getting relegated like mid-season.
Till the money came in.
Yeah, till the money came in.
And the good manager, to be fair.
Well, the first game with the money, we beat them.
Yeah,
3-2.
true. My 8th place choice is Leicester. They don't have any signings so far, but keeping Maddison, having Vardy, Schmeichel, all those good players, I think they'll still be able to achieve a top 8 finish. But there's really nothing else to say about them. I think they'll hold 8th.
Moving on to 7th place, I have put West Ham United in 7th place. So far, they've signed Nayef Aguerd, and not too many signings overall. But I think they, like you said, they don't have the squad depth. They don't have the players. They do have the experience. They kept Declan Rice, which is very crucial for them. I just don't think they're gonna qualify for Europa League or Champions League.
My 7th place choice is Newcastle with their insane money income from the Saudi owners. As well as bringing in Botman, who's a really good defender from Lille. Nick Pope from Burnley. They did lose Hendrick and Hayden, but are they really big losses? They were able to keep Callum Wilson as well as Alansa Maxima. So I think they'll soar up the table to 7th. But I think that whole Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle is kind of interchangeable. I think any of those 3 teams could finish in any of those 3 places.
Moving into the Big Six, in 6th place is Manchester United. So far, they've signed Lisandro Martinez and Christian Eriksen, who are 2 of the biggest signings. Of course, Christian Eriksen, that's a huge signing for creativity in their midfield. And I just don't see them finishing above. It's not that I don't think they're going to do well this season. It's just that there's other teams that are improving, such as Arsenal, Tottenham, who could jump ahead of them. That's why I think they'll only finish 6th.
My choice for 6th place is also Man United. They got Eriksen and Lisandro Martinez, but they're losing a big name in Ronaldo.
Oh, I forgot to mention
They're
that.
losing a
Ronaldo,
big name in Pogba. Cavani, of course, is leaving. So those are 3 big players who really, even though they may have not had the best season last year, well, Ronaldo had a great season. He's basically the only one that kept them from going below 6th place. But I think they made a good improvement in Erik ten Hag. But I think it'll take more than 1 season for him to really get with the squad and build what he wants. Of
course, they'll have the new manager bounce back.
Yeah, but I think it'll take a season to completely change the problems that Man United have, because they have a lot of big glaring problems. So, I think they'll finish 6th this season, but I think we should watch them for next season if Erik ten Hag succeeds.
In 5th place is Arsenal. So far, they've signed Gabby Jesus, which is a huge signing, and they've also signed Fabio Vieira.
Yes.
2 pretty good signings, especially Gabby Jesus. But I think Gabby Jesus gives them what they were really missing, a striker, after losing Aubameyang to Barcelona.
And Lacazette.
Well, not to Barcelona.
No, but he also
But
left.
yeah, they just needed a kind of a leader in attack.
Yeah, my 5th place is also Arsenal. They brought in Jesus from City and Vieira from Porto. They haven't really addressed their defensive issues though. Especially I think at wingback they have some problems often. Arteta still inexperienced. I'm still gonna go back to that reason. That's why they're not gonna get top 4. Although I think they'll have a little bit better performance than last season, but I don't see them going up the table at all. Not just yet compared to the teams that are above them.
In 4th place, I have Liverpool. All they've done is sign Darwin Núñez and what's his name from Fulham.
Carvalho.
Carvalho, yeah. But I don't think that's enough after losing Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
He's just kind of irreplaceable for Liverpool, especially like the connection between Salah and Mane. that's pretty irreplaceable. So that's why I think they're going to fall a little bit. If they make some good signings, though, other than Darwin Núñez, which is a great signing, hands down, but they can do better. They can make some other signings.
My fourth place choice is also Liverpool. Brought in Carvalho from Fulham and Darwin Núñez from Benfica, but it's a big loss in Sadio Mane to let him leave. He's a big part of their attack, and I think even though they've still got Mo Salah, he is going into his older years. I don't think he'll start his decline just yet, but maybe within the next season or two, I think we'll start seeing a little bit of a decline in performance from him because he is, I think 31?
No clue. He's like 30, I think.
Yeah, but I think in the next 2 seasons will really be the telltale years. He's 30 years old, but I don't think unless they make another big attacking signing, I think Liverpool will stay in fourth.
In third place, I have us. I have Spurs in third place purely because of the signings we made and our rise with Antonio Conte, Kulusevski, Bentancur, signing Bissouma, Perisic, Forster, Langlet, and Richarlison. Some huge signings from us, and I think we're gonna just keep getting better, especially with Antonio Conte. He was just what we needed.
Third place is the same for me. I have Tottenham right there. Again, the signings that we've made, the retaining the big players. I think we can match Liverpool, get better than them. We drew them twice last season. Also, I think we were held back a lot because of those losses initially in the season with Nuno to West Ham and Crystal Palace and Arsenal.
And Chelsea.
And Man United. I think all of those losses really impacted our season. And if we hadn't lost, I think we could have gone third. We wouldn't have caught up with the first 2, but at least we would have caught up with Chelsea, who were only 3 points ahead of us last season. Let's move into second place.
Moving into second place, I have put Man City in second place. Just kidding. Put Chelsea in second place. They have signed Raheem Sterling and Koulibaly. Koulibaly from Napoli and Sterling from Man City, of course. I think they're going to have a pretty good season. Finishing ahead of Liverpool and ahead of us. They're starting to take form under Tuchel. So I think they'll finish second.
Yeah, my second place choice is also Chelsea. They brought in Sterling and Koulibaly, lost Rudiger, Christensen, and Lukaku. I think they need to make 1 or 2 more defensive signings to add on to Koulibaly, but they're going to have a good season next year. They've built a good squad around these 2 players, and it's just going to keep getting better under Tuchel.
In first place, of course, we have Man City. Erling Haaland, they've signed. Calvin Phillips from side, but they did lost Sterling. I know Pep kind of...
Jesus as well.
And Jesus, yes. But Haaland kind of replaces Jesus.
Yeah.
It'll definitely take Haaland a little bit to grow into the squad.
He's got to finish his software update.
Yeah, his software update. Coming to the Premier League, he has to download a new software.
My first place choice is also Man City. They signed Haaland. Julian Alvarez is back from loan at River Plate. Calvin Phillips is here. They did lose Jesus and Sterling, but they've been able to keep KDB. Rodri, who's a big presence in midfield. Mahrez, their defenders. Ederson. So I think they'll win the title again. And I think it'll be a sweep again. I mean, Erling Haaland, who are we kidding?
Yeah.
He's like one of the best, not better than Harry Kane, but he's one of the best strikers in the world. So I think they will take the title next year again. But that's it for our Premier League predictions for next year. Please let us know what you think in the descriptions below. Who's getting relegated? Who's getting promoted? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to... Did I say promoted? Who's winning the title? Who's getting Champions League? That's what I meant. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep getting this awesome content about Tottenham and the Premier League. And until next time...
Come on, you Spurs!